Getting the N3 fully reopened and safe for trucks to travel is a critical part of re-establishing the supply chain of goods, not only to consumers in Gauteng and KwaZulu-Natal, but also in getting our exports to the port of Durban and out of the country. Let's speak now to Patrick O'Leary, editor of Fleetwatch Truck magazine. Patrick, thank you so much for your time. I spoke to the N3 toll concession people earlier. They confirmed that the N3 is open, but not in that critical sort of 200-odd kilometre stretch between Sadara, around Pietermaritzburg, I think, and Harrismith. So essentially, trucks cannot use that route at the moment. Am I correct?
100% correct, and it's a critical route. You know, the key for the country on truck movement revolves around the N3, I'm afraid to say. You know, the N1 is a route that's all running fine. N2 has got problems, but the N3, and it remains closed between Harrismith and Sadara. That is the route that the N3 manages. And I spoke to the RTI today. They are determined not to open that route until they have the correct security measures in place. And they have security at the hotspots like Mooiriver, Tugela. And a lot of the transporters, although being very inconvenienced, agree with that. They don't want the trucks burnt again.
Yeah, I can imagine. So that suggests to me, and I know that there's a very likely a plan to just deploy the military along the route as well, but it suggests that the threat is by no means over. Would you agree with that assessment?
I would agree with that. And that's what worries the transporters. You know, they're still very, very concerned because, you know, it could blow up. Mooiriver Toll Plaza is right next to Bruntville. And that could explode any time. The trucks have to come to a stop there because there's a toll plaza there. And so the guys are terribly worried. They don't want to. By the way, the N3, when it does open, when that section does open, it'll be only operational for trucks during the day, not at night. That is the plan, is not to have them at night. And again, many of the transporters agree with this, although they'll have to change their entire modus operandi, the entire transport schedules, their delivery, their offloads schedules. They want to be safe. Sally, if I may just say, this is not the first time the truckers have been hit. They get hit right throughout the year in service delivery protests and all this type of thing. So they want to stay safe now.
Yeah, absolutely understandable. Do you have any idea, and I understand this is very much a sort of a national security decision on when the full route opens again, but do you have any sort of inkling of when it might be reopened?
You know, from what we're looking at, they've got the military in there now. They have there, and I saw along the N2, fuel tankers were being escorted to Richards Bay. That's on the N2. So I know the RTI are working with the military and with the SAPS to secure the route and to provide convoys even. My guess is they might open it to convoys of essential goods. Don't forget, essential goods in this case, when it was under level 1 of lockdown, you know, sanitizers and medical goods, but now it's food. KZN is food. Sally, just to give you an example, when I say essential goods, chicken. You know that around about, let me just get there, over 350 tons of chicken from one company go into Durban every day. Now, the warehouse was burnt last night, one of the warehouses. And so they haven't delivered chicken into Durban for the last 5 days. Vegetables haven't been delivered into Durban. So those are going to be essential goods for KwaZulu-Natal. The rest of the country seems to be okay, but KwaZulu-Natal, and particularly Durban, needs food. It needs milk. It needs baby food. It needs all that. And it's a big problem because one of the big warehouses, it's Value Logistics, they had looters in there for 3 days, Sonny, for 3 days. Tons and tons of stuff went. The cars, you probably saw the video, the cars were parked along the highway, offloaded. Yeah. Now, what goes into that warehouse is imports, and it doesn't only go to Durban, it goes to the rest of the country. But, yeah, I can see perhaps as an interim measure, if they don't open it for all traffic, that certainly certain trucks will be escorted along that route.
That makes sense,
but I think
actually.
once those, yes, it does. And once those escorts are in place, I reckon that, you know, you could open it during the day. But they are determined, and the transport industry agrees, determined to secure the route before opening it.
Fair enough.
The bad news for Durban is that you're going to go without essential goods for some time to come. And Sally, I saw an eNCA today and again, congrats on the coverage you're doing for all this, the long queues, the fuel queues. Fuel tankers are being escorted by the military.
Let me jump in and ask you about fuel, because when we last spoke, you just got the news that SAPREF, which is the country's largest crude oil refinery, had declared a force majeure. It had to close because of the looting. It's still closed.
That's right.
And that supplies a third of the country's fuel. So my question to you is, how concerned are you that we're actually going to see fuel shortages not just in KwaZulu-Natal, but further?
I don't think, I made a few calls today. South Africa hasn't got a shortage of fuel, and the SAPREF, that is going to impact a little bit, but South Africa needn't be worried about running out of fuel totally. But you are going to have local garages, local service stations, etc., running out of fuel. And the key here is to get the fuel tankers escorted to those garages to offload the fuel for the country. There's not a shortage of fuel in South Africa, despite the SAPREF closure, and this had been told to me today. Okay, so if I'm wrong, please shoot me. No, I'm the messenger. Okay, don't shoot me. I've been told that today. But if you get once again, the critical thing is the trucks. They have to get the fuel to the various outlets, and they have to be escorted, because they are not prepared to go through riots and to be burnt. And, if one of those tankers gets burnt, boy, Durban it just blows. It blows so big.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for that update. I really do appreciate it. That, of course, is Patrick O'Leary, editor of Fleetwatch Truck magazine, saying that there are plans afoot to reopen that middle section of the N3, which is currently closed, but possibly only during the day and only for trucks that are escorted by the military. That's the thinking at this point. So we certainly will watch that story. Thank you very much, Patrick. Now,